Hello, everybody. Good evening. We'd like to welcome you all to another episode of Kera Life. Today, we'll be talking about photography from basics to advanced. Photographs or images are like an instant made into eternity. When we see images of the past, photographs of the past years, we instantly go back to that memory. So, for taking a nice photograph, a memorable photograph, we need to know certain points and facts also, and how to go about it. So, we have two guest speakers and our own Dr. Paras speaking about different aspects of photography. Without much taking time, I would like to hand over the session to our moderators, Dr. Paras and Dr. Bela.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Dr. Gyan, for organizing this meet. We've been seeing a lot of photographs as well as seeing a lot of the variety of hobbies that ophthalmologists have in the life beyond ophthalmology, which started during the COVID times. And that has really been an inspiration for me, as well as I guess a lot of fellow ophthalmologists, to continue those things even after COVID times. I would say it's a very relaxing hobby. And we thought we will just have not a very didactic kind of session, but an interactive session so that we can gain from each other and learn from each other's uh, experiences apart from ophthalmology. So we are not talking ophthalmology today. And we're thinking that we could have a 10 to 15-minute presentation session, but it will be not a didactic thing. We can be asking questions amongst ourselves. We can be interrupting free of will, but I shall make sure that those interruptions are not taking a very long time. So I would call upon Dr. Paras to make the first presentation. She is a senior cornea fellow from LV Prasad with nearly 30 years of practice at Baroda. She did her MBBS and MS from Baroda Medical College and has been practicing solo hardcore cornea along with and associated with the many charitable organizations as well in Vadodara. She, apart from ophthalmology, excellence in ophthalmology, has been an excellent sporting person also. Played a lot of table tennis, it seems, during her undergraduation and graduation. She has been a champion in that, has played at college, national, and state levels as well. So this is a new thing that has come to fore. She is a great nature lover, nature lover. She loves traveling and exploring places. A lot of photographs that we see updated on Facebook. And to top it all, she photographs all those things to remember herself, and we can see that also for posterity. So over to you, Dr. Paras.
Thank you, Bela, for a very kind introduction. And I think we can begin with this visual journey. Shall I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, like, this was very interesting when me and...
Ma'am, put it on a slideshow.
Yeah, I'm just doing that, but I thought meanwhile I'll just say something. Yeah, is it on a slideshow mode now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, when we talk about photography, in fact, me and Gyan were discussing that what next, and this turned out to be something related to photography and birding. And this is not only photography. Like when me and Dr. Bela started discussing, we thought we would put nice photographs and have it more interactive kind of a thing. The word is the previous people introduced, that when we talk about photography, it creates memories, and you would be observing certain things which even later when you observe the photograph you have not observed earlier also. So for, like, when you think about photography, these words would come to your mind: light, time, moment, observations, patience, and perseverance. But last two are very important: patience and perseverance. And especially when you want to do a birding, probably that is a first and foremost thing which one should have. These are the attributes one should have. And then you would start thinking about, whether we should have knowledge of the subject, what gears we should be using, camera, lenses, tripods, monopods, what technique, post-processing. But here, what we have done, me and Dr. Dilip, and probably Dr. Saikat also, that we have tried to bring in pictures, and we would just put some interesting information, and maybe Bella or anyone can interrupt and ask. So I would begin with, this is how it started, in the sense that during COVID time, I had a lot of time. So it started a little earlier, like, in 2015, but I started capturing birds in my backyard. So this is a purple sunbird. It's very difficult to catch that. As you can see here, that there is a flower which is hiding behind the purple sunbird. And this small bird is, belongs to a sunbird family. There are many sunbirds. It feeds mainly on nectar, flower nectar, and also eats insects and all. And like, as you can see here in this picture, very bright, frame. The background is blurred if we talk about the photography technique, but this is a bottle brush, and like this bird is like drinking nectar. And how do you differentiate between a male and a female? The male would always be very attractive in bird species by and large, and female would be less, because male has to enchant females. So these are some pictures of sunbird, which is very commonly seen in everybody's, probably garden. So you have to look for that. It just comes with that chick chick small noise, and then you would know that it has come. So again, it is in a full frame, in the sense sitting on that, perching on that tree, small shrub. And this is the female of that sunbird. These females are olive above and yellowish below, but it is the same species male, which is very attractive with purple and black color. And this is a female. Sometimes you have these kind of, purple rumped sunbirds, or sometimes the same uh, bird would have different morphs in breeding season, so their feathers would change. Bela, would you like to add something to this?
Well, I think these are one of the most commonly seen birds, even in the urban area. They have survived all the urbanization also, because in my house, which is in like totally urban area with just a small terrace garden, this is the first bird that I have seen, and they just are so fast and drinking nectar from the trees. They're very difficult to photograph as well, because they are really fast. But if you can photograph these birds, it gives you a really good high even when you are starting. And seeing the variety that they have, it is just the same sunbird, the purple sunbird, but if you start seeing, it'll have so many colors to it, and you're wondering where is the purple in it. So the purple comes only in a particular breeding season that you can see, and it's great interest to watch. The left photograph, which shows the purple sunbird, rumped sunbird, actually you can see a small twig in the beak, which is not a twig, but it is actually the nectar that it has had. So that is what we start noting. So any camera setting, specific camera setting that you
actually
create for these birds, which are very fast moving birds? So do you have any special camera settings, or what camera do you actually use? We could know the name and some of the basic settings that you would keep for such a fast moving bird. It's a very small bird and moves very fast.
So when we talk about camera settings, when you have to have a the shutter speed has to be very high, because the shutter would open. So you have to capture them very speedily, so that it's open, it captures the image, and it should be very fast. So when those of you who are very familiar with these norms, like you would have focal length, you would have shutter speed, you would have ISO, which is like, you control the light coming into the camera lens or onto the mirrors, or if you are using mirrorless, onto the sensors. So these are the parameters which you have to look into. And if you are a beginner, you have to increase the shutter speed when you are doing a bird photography. If I have a nice, an example for this, in the sense that if you are slow, if your shutter speed is slow, you will have this kind of a blur. If it is low, you will not be able to capture the action of the bird, which Dr. Dilip is going to show you. So essentially, you have to have uh, settings like here. My birds are focused, so it is, center weighted, and as you can see here, this is much sharper as against this. This is little blurred. So this is kind of, much more into a focus kind of a thing. And what you can see here in the background is a bokeh effect. The background is having a blurred effect. Dr. Dilip, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you which mode you have used for this photo, particularly for this photograph mode,
No,
because
I
there because for what I have learned over a period of time, okay, if you want to uh, means see a photograph of a bird, then you should use aperture priority mode. Then
I
everything will be taken
absolutely,
care.
I
Aperture
agree.
priority. But if you
I
want to
agree.
capture them in flight, or if you want to capture their action, then you should go for shutter priority mode. That is what I understand.
Yes, but
If you
I'm a
want to
little different
if you
person.
want
So
to no, if you want to capture them in flight or in speed or something like that, then you have to use shutter priority mode.
true.
Otherwise, if for a still sitting bird, you can perched bird, you can use aperture priority. That will give you a very sharp image.
So
That is what I.
for the benefit of the audience, that is, everybody may not be very doing the photography very professionally. I would just like to say that we are talking about the professional cameras wherein we use the manual settings. There is an auto mode in each camera which
Yeah,
will automatically set to the conditions. But what we here are talking about when we are manually focusing and trying to catch the details of the birds, both when they are perched as well as in action. So there
yeah.
are these three things that uh, are basically we have to control. One is the ISO, that is the sensitivity of the camera to the light that is coming in. One is the aperture, that is how much light we are allowing to come in. It is
Allowed to
like the
enter.
pupil of the camera. And the third is the shutter speed, how fast we are shutting the shutter so that we can or cannot allow that much amount of light to come in. So whenever we are capturing a fast moving bird, we have to have a very high shutter
Shutter
speed.
speed.
Yes, a high shutter speed. When the bird is perched, it is not
Then
going to move. Yeah,
then
and
you can use aperture priority.
right. So, and when the light is less, we have to allow for more
I
light
so
to
then
come
you
in,
have to use ISO.
high ISO, and we have to keep the uh, uh, aperture open for a longer
Open for
time. So
longer time.
these are the
Basics,
three
yeah.
basic things in any photography.
That is exposure triangle, what we call is exposure triangle.
Those of you
Right.
who are just beginning can look at, that triangle, that is exposure triangle, which gives you an idea about basic settings like ISO, shutter speed,
And
and
there is one more thing,
the,
exposure compensation. There is one more this thing
yes,
aspect in it, exposure compensation. That is also very useful when your light is wavered. Means sometimes you are working against the sunlight. Sometimes you are working with the sunlight. So then exposure compensation should also we should also know about exposure compensation. Then you can take a very good photograph. That is my personal this thing experience.
yes, very true.
So, Dr. Paras,
Uh,
should we continue with your presentation?
yeah. So these are, common bulbuls which we see in our backyard very regularly. And I'm sure if you just notice them, there are a variety of bulbuls in India, many species. But if you look carefully, you would realize their beauty. So these were, if you see this picture here, the background is totally washed out. This is known as a high key photography because this is clicked
Against sunlight.
against the light, in the sense the light is not in my camera is against the light. So this is known as a high key photography. So the birds are captured well, but the background is all washed out. There is another mode which is also known as low key photography, where you want more contrast and you want the background to be dark. And these two concepts are also being used in filming the films. So they are very effectively used for special art films and many other filmmakings. So this I was talking that if your shutter speed is low, probably I couldn't, like, I don't click on aperture mode or aperture priority or shutter priority. I prefer to set my shutter speed and my settings and click them. So if your shutter speed is low, probably you would have this kind of a blur. As you can see that the wings are blurred. This technique is used for very specific photography also, which we'll sometime cover in some point of time. So this is a different bulbul, which is also found in Southwestern Asia. And I'm sure these are not very rare birds. These are all clicked
Very common
somewhere
birds. Yes,
around.
yes.
Yeah, they are clicked somewhere around, and which earlier when we started with, I mean, I was very interested in landscape photography. Then few of us, like my friends, we started attending some photo walks, and then somehow we got into wildlife photography, and we never realized that when we started having interest in bird photography. Otherwise I used to know only about the sparrows and crows. And then you start learning about these birds, that these are different birds, like the ears, like that area is white, so it is white-eared bulbul, or sometimes
Bulbul.
some people call it white-chicked bulbul also. They are usually found singly or in flocks. As you can see here, this was taken at one of the temple which is nearby. So they are not very uncommon. Only thing is we don't notice them. This is when you click them on a perch with a surrounding like this, it is supposed to be a good photograph. Even in an urban area, you will find such areas. So this I was talking about. This is high key with a very minimalistic frame, and the bird is on a nice perch. If you click these birds on a wire, usually they would be, perching on the wires in the morning, on the electric wire or cables, or, that is not a good perch as far as photography is concerned. So
That is
select a
online
bird.
photography. That is
Yeah,
online photography.
online. True. You have those, one line quotes below your bird postings. So these are our common, I mean, sparrows, house sparrows, but they are so beautiful. We never notice them. But once you start photographing, you realize that, even they are so beautiful. The male is this one, and this is female, obviously.
So
All these
contrary to
photographs
the
are taken.
human being, welcome, Dr. Saikajana.
Dr. Saikat, would
Thank
you
you.
like to comment about anything?
Yes, I just want to know while you are focusing these birds, what
Yes.
part the priority, eyes or anything else or breaks? Because it is very manual focus or autofocus. What do you prefer?
I prefer to do it on manual, and I try to focus the eyes so that you can catch them. And sometimes I would like to have a frame like this rather than having a bird very sharp, like into its habitat shot kind of a thing.
But nowadays, some cameras has already arrived. Those are having the eye tracker, and if you
Yes,
on
Yeah.
it, it automatically track the eye
yes,
of the bird, and it will focus only the eyes, and the picture
yes,
will be, I think, more appealing or more wow factor will be there.
true. And even we would have, we can have prime lenses instead of the other lenses. I think, Lipa, you have prime lens, right? You're
Yeah.
using prime lens?
Yeah. I'm using.
Huh. So can you just tell us something about that?
Uh, they are fantastic lenses. Once you start using prime lenses, no, you'll forget about other lenses. So,
I understand, but what is
uh,
the like, I mean,
uh,
specific feature of a prime lens?
you
Why
just don't
shift
have
it from regular lens to a prime lens?
no, you just have to focus your object. That is all. Rest, it is very fast focusing lenses. You just don't
Yes,
have to do anything. Only problem with those lenses that you cannot you have to maintain certain distance. Otherwise, it's not possible to capture uh, close-ups. That is the
Yes.
biggest problem with the prime lenses. But prime lenses for bird photography is ultimate. Of course, they are a bit expensive, but for ophthalmologists like us, no, now there should not be any problem. We spend so much money for our equipment, slate lamp camera and fundus camera and this camera. Then we can buy one prime lens for our photography also.
And
We have
another
many.
good way is to keep good friends who do a lot of birding so that you can exchange your lenses
Yeah.
with
Why
them
not?
as
Why
well.
not?
So
We
what are
can
the
have a
lens? What?
forum.
Yeah.
We can have this group of photographers, and we can definitely exchange our lenses. There's absolutely no problem because they're very expensive, and you use it once. Say, suppose if you go out for, say, supposing I was asking you to go to north. Say, supposing I go there for 1 week. So that lens is useful for 1 week only. Then otherwise, then what is the use of that lens? We can
So what camera and lens do you use, Dr. Paras,
when
especially for these photographs that you were showing in your presentation, Dr. Paras?
I earlier was a Canon user. I had a very basic model available to begin for my photography, and I had those kit lenses plus that 28 to 250 or 200, which comes with Canon basic model 100D. But then I like shifted my gears to Sony. Now I'm using Sony because we just moved into birding. So I'm using the Sony Alpha 7R Alpha 7R4 with 200-600 lens. So for birding, if you want to do it from distance also, 200-600 lens would be very good lens to
it's
be
sufficient.
able to, yeah, kind of sufficient enough. It is the best lens actually. Sometimes it's not necessary to have the same, company lenses. People use even third-party lenses also, which are relatively cheaper than the original lenses. So you have to just find out because there are different mounts on. So you have to select the body of the camera, mirrorless or with mirror. Like, but now most of the people are using mirrorless. So this is also mirrorless. But then you have to accordingly choose the lenses because some lenses would go on certain mounts and some would not go on certain mounts. So that is how you choose your lenses.
But there is one problem with mirrorless cameras. What I have learned that their battery life is very poor.
Not
What is
much.
that?
Like I never faced that much.
Battery life is very poor. Mirrorless
Is it?
cameras.
But newer, man, I have got my Alpha 7R5, but
Okay.
in this
Okay.
camera battery life is very good. But the
Okay.
previous one, I used to use Alpha 6000. In that camera, battery life was very poor.
Very poor.
But
But that is what I have heard. I am not using mirrorless camera, but I have heard that mirrorless camera battery life is very poor.
newer models
And
are having very good battery life.
What?
yeah, exactly. I would agree with Dr. Saikar.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. The battery life
Pardon,
is pretty
sir?
good. Like even with this
Very good.
Alpha
Very good.
7R3 or
I
7
have got
7.
Alpha 7R5, the
Okay,
latest
so you
model.
have one model higher than mine.
Yes, yes, but the battery life is in this camera. Though I have got two batteries, but very good battery life
Yeah.
in the
So,
newer model.
Dr. Paras, shall we go ahead because we have the other speakers also
Yes,
who will
yes.
be there?
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Shall I just run through the pictures like visual treat and then we let Dr. Dilip
Yes.
show his,
Yes, and then we'll
so
start
rather
with
than
Dr.
it is
Dilip.
already, the
True.
name is already put on this, this is a
Yes.
black drongo, a bully, a mimic, and an attacker. This is also black drongo. You can notice a small white at the gape of the beak, and they are easily found on the outskirts in, perching anywhere. These are common bird, which we see our national bird and very colorful and brilliant bird. This I was talking about, this is uh, focused very well here. But if you see this, I tried to, this was taken at, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. This is low key, like, the background is having black color. So you can try variety of, techniques. This is one of those, jungle babblers, which is commonly seen. So anybody can begin bird photography with common birds. Sometimes if you are, going to the outskirts, you will even spot the spotted owlets. So these are the different moods of spotted owlets you can see here. Sometimes they laugh also there. You can hear a shrill laugh. This is I was talking about a silver bill. These are all small munias which have a very specific bill, and that is how the name comes, silver bill. And they eat, if you keep a bird feeder and put kang into it, small grains, they would come to your house as well. So these are the flocks of silver bill munias. And this is in a nicer landscape. Like if you have a green background available, it is supposed to be a good photograph. These are Siberian stone chats, which travel from distance and come for wintering to our part. These are different munias, like these are known as strawberry finch or red munia, red avadavat. These are all around us. I have not gone to, Chopta or any specific, birding sites to click them. They are clicked around Baroda only in the outskirts. These are scaly breasted munia. They sometimes come and nest in your garden as well. You can see them in flocks also. These are the buntings who come in the I never knew all these, species till I started birding. As I said, I knew only crows and sparrows and maybe doves and all. So these are red-headed buntings. Similarly, you have black-headed buntings. They come during seed season to eat the seeds. So when before, the crop is taken off from the farms, you would see them in flocks. This is a common bird, Echiprenia. You will see it singing many a times, as you can see here in this picture, in the outskirts. These are shrikes, a variety of shrikes you will see, depending on which part of the country you are living, or sometimes there may be migratory shrikes as well. And very peculiar of shrikes is they would have, as if they've applied some kajal here, they would have a black belt there. So you can differentiate it from other birds. These are the bush chats, pied bush chat. These are also migratory. And this is our common pond heron. I just brought this that, that this is like, you would see them, but you would not realize that how beautiful this heron is. So when you click them, you realize that they have a very nice yellow iris and a nice beak and striated neck. These are common kingfishers. I'll just run through because we would be running out of the time. These are
I
common
think
kingfishers.
another minute for you, Dr. Paras, and then
Yes,
we'll
that
move on
should
to
be
Dr.
fine. I'll
Devi.
just run
Yeah.
through the pictures. You will see them at the rivers. These are white-breasted kingfishers commonly found in fields. They'll have a shrill voice. These are pied kingfishers. And this is a high key picture because the background is white because this is against the light. These are Brahmini minas. This is a male, and this one is a female. The male would have, a kalgi kind of a thing, that crest there. And sometimes they show these kind of tantrums. As you can see here, the male is showing that what I said is correct. Like, you have to follow this decision, those kind of, uh, poses they would give. This is a Indian roller, which also you will see quite often in the outskirts. But it is nice to, click them at the trees or not on the cables. If you see this, this is a mark that this is a perch for it. These are woodpeckers, sometimes lesser golden back, flame back. And these are common ioras. They sing a lot. This is also a migratory Eurasian wryneck. It comes in winter time here. It is it has a very peculiar habit. Like, it can move its head kind of, 180 degree, 360 degree, and it can move its head like a snake. That is how the name comes. These are very nice, beautiful birds like pratincoles. You can have collared ones, or you can have sometimes small pratincoles. As you can see here, they are also known as lipstick birds because their lips, the beaks have red color at the end. So these are swallows, which you see quite often perched on the wires. Sometimes the cuckoos have different morphs, and this was a hepatic morph which I could catch in the outskirts. These are also very common bee-eating birds, which you can see here. These are the ones which are migratory. They come during June to Baroda, and they dig the holes into the these kind of, areas, like into the and then, they burrow it into that, and their nest would be there, and they nest in groups, like they come in flocks. Their main food is, those insects, and the males are responsible for bringing food to the chicks and to the female. So these are different pictures of that. This is a very shy bird, yellow beaten. Sometimes this, like, during monsoon, this you would see this bird, pied cuckoo or Jacobin cuckoo, also known as chatak in colloquial or local language, and it brings rain. I'll just move. I think I can,
Yeah.
and sometimes you can capture them in action. Like, this is just coming down. And if you go to certain sanctuaries or certain areas, you would see these flamingos, which are migratory. This is the fastest bird, peregrine falcon. This is very commonly seen in lesser run of Kutch. So if you want to travel to Gujarat, you can come to this place. So before you settle, sometimes it just gives you a kind of, pose that like, it would be gone. So these are different ones.
I'm
And
just sorry to interrupt,
that's
Dr.
it.
Paras. Shall we go
That's
ahead
I'm done.
and listen to Dr. Dilip continue?
Yeah, certainly. I just stop share.
So I'm inviting Dr. Dilip Agarwal, who's a very senior ophthalmologist practicing in Rajkot. And he is a product of GMC Bhopal. And he has been part of organizing the first International IOL conference in Mumbai in 1984. He treasures now being a grandparent, so his grandson, and he has a radiologist son, a gynecologist, daughter in law, and another budding clinical hematologist son. He I mention his wife in the end, but he mentions her first, and he's she is named Aarti, who he really loves, and we shall be learning, and he shall be sharing his experience in photography. So, Dr. Dilip Agarwal, over to you.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much, Cornell Society of India, for inviting me and uh, asking me to share my photography experience. So, without wasting time, I'll start with my presentation.
So, till the screen is being shared, I just wanted to let the people who are listening know that it is not always required that you have such big cameras and such big lenses to photograph your surroundings. The mobile nowadays not only has this auto, which we normally use, but it has a professional mode also. We have in
Yeah,
the upcoming talks going to learn about that also. So the mobile that is always in our hands is a good enough instrument to start photography with. So we should not just be overwhelmed with all the prime lenses, the mirrorless cameras, the mirror cameras, but whatever we have in our hand, that is the purpose of this talk, that we could be able to use the mobile as our tool. Dr. Dilip, are you ready?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, can you
Yeah.
see my screen?
No, we cannot see your screen.
I would agree to that, Bella, because if you see a good photograph and ask a photographer that which lenses or what gears are you using, it is considered to be an insult kind of a thing. It is a technique which is important than the gears most of the time.
You cannot see my screen?
No,
No,
we
you will
No,
have to
sir.
share your
will have
screen.
to share your
Hey,
screen.
There
There
is
is
a
a green button there.
yeah.
Dr. Saikat, you have been traveling a lot, it seems. And till Dr. Dilip shares his screen, uh,
Yes.
do you do both, like the mobile photography as well as DSLR photography?
I started it in 2015, but I started with only mirrorless. In 2015, nobody was aware of these things. I think Sony started producing mirrorless camera. I
Yes.
went to purchase some new camera, DSLR, either Nikon or Canon. But every shopkeeper told me that there is new variety of camera. You can check it. So I came back again, studied in the internet and all the YouTube channels what is mirrorless concept, and and gone through it, and ultimately I bought Sony mirrorless 6000 series, and I am now a stick to Sony. and now I have a 7 Alpha R5.
The
And
Sony are relatively lighter. The body is lighter comparatively, isn't it, weight-wise?
Can you see the screen now?
yes, no,
We are
sir, it
able
is
to
not.
Not yet.
see only.
So Nitin was
Okay.
asking about Canon users.
Uh,
Sir,
I
open up the Zoom platform, sir. Now click on the share screen button down.
Just a minute.
In fact, all the brands are very good. Like currently, whatever,
So once
whichever.
you click on the share screen button, you will see your PowerPoint presentation in that. Just click on that and click on share, sir.
Okay, just a minute.
I think clicking birds is the easiest thing to get you connected with nature and realize that there are so many variety of birds that have been there all around you and which you have been ignoring. So then once you hold the camera in your hand and when they start ignoring you, that is when you feel that ignorance that you've done for so long is getting back to you. But it is
That's a get lost pose. Like, they immediately they would give, they would turn back. The moment they can sense
yeah.
that
So
somebody
maybe
is
we
clicking
can
them.
go ahead with Dr. Sekat's presentation, and meanwhile, Shabina, you can help Dr. Dilip by calling him and telling him how
Sure,
to do it.
sure.
If you can do that. Dr. Sekat, I would like to invite you. And Dr. Sekat is, again, I have got to know him through the Life Beyond Ophthalmology platform, and he's a practicing anterior segment and refractive surgeon at Kolkata, many centers in Kolkata. He has a radiologist's wife and two children who are in class 10. He's a very decorated photographer. But that is the reason that I gave him that he would like to, I desire that he teaches us mobile photography, the thing that is in everybody's hands. And he has received many awards in photography. He is, along with that, also an avid painter and sketcher, and he writes a lot of Bengali stories, which have been published both in various magazines, online and offline. So, okay, then maybe we'll come to Dr. Dilip. Sir, if you could just finish in 10 minutes so that the next
Yeah, yeah.
10 minutes.
Then
Yes, sir.
can you see my screen now?
Yes, yes, yes. If you can just put it in full mode, it is just small
Yeah.
slides. Yes,
Is it okay now?
yes, please.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'll not discuss much. You can stop me in between if you want. This is my this thing first photograph. This green beetle. You can see the color, same colors in background also. This was an accidental click, but you can see the colors of this green beetle in the background also. I have kept the name of this presentation's theme is I think with Geo. You can stop me in between if you want.
So you go ahead. We have around 8 minutes for your presentation. We are enjoying the visual treat.
This is a little friend. Can you see the pictures?
Yes.
This is female peacock in flight. The male peacock in flight. Juvenile. This is adult.
Beautiful, all the water droplets. So if you can tell us a little bit about the settings and all while the presentation is running, if you can just run through the settings that possibly you've used for this white-throated kingfisher with
Yes,
all
this
the
white
water
throated
droplets.
kingfisher, I have used. Basically, I'm using Nikon D850. This is the prime lens, prime 500 500. This thing 5.6 millimeter aperture, and I have used shutter priority mode in this particular picture with ISO was 1600 auto, and 500 millimeter prime lens was used in this particular picture. This is also Nikon D850, but
One of
this
the
is
best
with
cameras.
200 500 millimeter lens. This is roller. This is Indian roller. This is Indian roller in flight. This is European roller. There's a difference in Indian roller and
European is
Sir,
always lighter in color.
Indian roller neck is brown, and European roller snake is blue.
sir, do you use tripod for this
No,
photography of
handheld.
portrait?
I have got
Handheld.
tripod, but I have never used. This is from my terrace only. Is a routine pictures from my this thing terrace. This is like a cataract. A cataract patient comes to us, no, and suddenly asks for the charges, and he says, "Ki, nahi, I'll go to charitable," and slips away from you.
I love how you create a story along these
Yes.
birds. It's a delight every day morning to see them.
I'm covering all the this thing colors from Vibgeo.
Yes.
This is green beaters. You'll see this picture usually in the winters. In the winter morning, if you go, you'll see flocks of this thing green beaters on wire. This is three different varieties of green beaters. Like one is green beater, one is blue-tailed green beater, and one is blue cheek. This is yellow. This is Marshall Iowa. This is male, and this one is female. This is male, and this is golden oriole, and this is golden oriole in flight.
That is
This
beautiful.
this orange. This is Rudy Sheldon. These all birds can be seen in and around Rajkot only. You don't have to go away from Rajkot. 10 kilometers, and you can find all these birds. A 10 seconds video, I have kept 10 seconds video for these birds. This is Paradise flycatcher female. This is greater cowcall. This is orange. These are Brahmani starlings. This hope. This is a red munia. Red munia in flight.
Cool. So I think we are luring young ophthalmologists into picking up their cameras and shooting many more beautiful pictures for us.
Oh, yeah. This is also this is a common bird. Usually you get these birds in your garden every day. The quail, male.
So,
And
sir, if
this
you
is
can just
also
summarize in 2 minutes and end your talk so that we can also learn from Dr. Jana.
I'll finish up fast. These are owls.
You're throwing a light on these owls here to actually
Yeah,
photograph
light,
them?
because this
Yes.
particular video I have thrown light on that. This is my favorite subject.
They dance to your tunes.
This is the prayers. And this is Diwali. Happy Diwali to all of you in advance.
Thank you.
This video is very good. I like this video very much. This squirrel is trying to climb the wire. Just see. Yes, trying. And at last, after so many efforts, she was successful in climbing the wire.
Lovely.
And just see, somebody commits suicide if they are not able to climb the. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much. So maybe these beautiful visual treat that we have seen, I think maybe in the photographs now that you post every day, you can put in a little bit of your settings also so that
Yeah,
we can
definitely.
learn from that.
Definitely.
And yes, that will help
Definitely.
everybody improve and get into photography.
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Sekat, now over to you for mobile photography.
Sharing option is not coming actually.
Abina, you'll have
Sir,
to
are
help.
you
So whilst the screen is being shared, uh, how I took up into birding also is because it is not only about clicking the photographs, but when you're observing these birds through this big zoomed lens of yours, like this antic of the squirrel that Dr. Dilip has picked up, and the beautiful visuals of the national bird that were there, you learn so much and you start seeing so many details that it is just beautiful. So, coming on to the presentation by Dr. Jana, please go ahead. You have to unmute, Dr. Sekat. You've muted yourself. Just unmute, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
I'm sharing the total screen. Okay. Thank you, Cornea Society, for giving me this opportunity. And my talk will be on the democracy in photography. That is magic with mobile and smartphone photography. Uh, what is photography? Photography is nothing but capturing a moment. And what is the best camera? That is which is available at that moment. So mobile photography comes into picture. It has got some advantages like most easily available device, easy to carry, easy to remember, and very easy to use. And nowadays, the camera in the mobile are got improved a huge in terms of number of lens, megapixels, and the sensor sensitivity. So it can be called the value for money. But most of us use a lot of money to purchase the flagship mobile phones. But how many of us are using those features? Those are available within that mobiles. So we want to highlight some tips on that matter. If I talk about the evolution of the smartphone, I had Nokia one time 1.3 megapixel camera, and that was a huge jump from the point 0.3 VGA camera to megapixel camera. But now I have got camera a mobile phone from Samsung which has got 108 megapixel, and the latest model is having 200 megapixel. So there is a huge improvement in the megapixel, the clarity, the uh, pixels, the resolutions. But regarding the sensor, the size of the sensor in the mobile phone are very small. But still, there is a lot of improvement, not only a little bit in size, but also the sensitivity and the quality of the sensor. So we can use it in professionally. Even iPhone and Samsung phones are being professional photography and videography also nowadays. And another important point for this mobile photography is the improved algorithm and the software processing. Whatever photo you take, mobile devices uses its own algorithm to make it more catchy to the viewers. And also there is improved light sensitivity, a light handling capacity. And regarding other two things, we should remember during purchase of a new mobile phone, we should observe the whether there is any presence of optical image stabilization or electronic image stabilization, OIS and EIS. OIS is always better than EIS. Remember it. And regarding zoom, optical zoom is better than the digital zoom. Whatever digital zoom is there, but all these will actually downgrade your photo. Now, first of all, we have to know our basic camera in the smartphone. If you see the middle picture, you see there are most of the mobile phones are same type of display in the camera like this. You have got portrait mode, photo mode, and video mode, and another pro mode. If you go in the more options, you will get night mode, super slow mode, panoramic mode, and like this. But if you open the pro mode, you will see there are exposure triangle features are there. That is ISO, speed, shutter speed, exposure value, focus, and white balance. All these factor can be controlled through the pro mode, and we should talk about the pro mode later on. But most of us use the only auto mode. Hold the camera and click. But we should explore our camera in the mobile phone. So be creative and try the other modes also. First, and it might be ridiculous. This point is they clean the lenses first, because mobile phones, we keep the mobile phone very close to our body. So the smudges and the fingerprints all are over the lenses. But before taking a real photograph, you should clean the lenses, and with if normal spectacle cleaning clothes is enough. but don't rub it vigorously on the lenses. You should gentle circular motion is enough to clean these lenses. And it is very important point to get the sharper whatever megapixel you have to get the sharp picture. This is very important. Now, try a natural light and artificial light versus flash. Every mobile phone has flash, but see the first picture. I have taken it with this model is taken with the flash, and you can see all most of the details are blown away. Now, the next picture, the second picture, in the right hand side, you can see without flash, only the window light is falling upon it. So better not to use the flash with mobile, and unless it is very much required, and the field flash like that in the background illumination is there, so subject to be illuminated with the flash. In that cases you can use, but otherwise without flash is always better. And try to use the natural light or artificial light whatever available from a particular angle in a particular direction. That will give the depth of the picture. Now, blurry pictures versus steady shots. Most of the people we are trying to take the photo with one hand, but my request will be when you are taking a good, trying to take a good photograph, hold the mobile phone with both of your hands because it will stabilize your device. So the picture, whatever may be the megapixel, it will come sharp or sharper. And if it is not possible for you, you can on make on the timer setting in 2 seconds, but for 2 seconds, but actually what while you are tapping on the shutter button, the photograph will be taken after 2 seconds after the end of the shake. Or besides this, you can use small tripod or Bluetooth shutter button to make the picture steady and sharp. Next, come to the practice and perfection. This is very much required. Uh, for mobile photography, it is less expensive. There is no money involved at all, unless you are spending money for the purchase of the mobile phone. But you have to try the same object or same subject from different angles, different shots, and you have to understand which is looking good, which is looking bad, and which is better. So, as the mobile phone devices are very light in weight, so you can use a lower angle for a particular subject is very easy. The first picture from you can see the in from Egypt. The right hand picture in a international fly taken from the lower angle, and in the middle picture you can see this is the different perspective. All of our eye surgeons, we do surgery from upside, but what will be the patient's perspective while looking through the microscope? Though it is a composite picture, but I use the mobile phone to take this picture from a different angle. Now, make a photo. Taking a photograph and making a photograph are not same. Try to create something, try to observe the scene, make your composition, make your decision what to take, what to not to take, and then click. You can click anything, no problem, but make a good substance to click, and try to focus the main subject in a close way, and also look to the background. In the first picture you can see that there is our daily usage things, but the background is not very clean, it is cluttered, so the little bit distraction is there to the background. So, and regarding photography rules, you can use the rule of third, leading lines, symmetry, all these things, but this is a different chapter. And regarding mobile phone, there are a lot of lenses nowadays. In back, there are five lenses. In front, two lenses. But always remember, the main lens lies behind the phone. So try to use the main camera. It gives the better result. All the megapixels, all the sensor sensitivity, good sensor are kept in the lens, the main lens. And you can see all this photograph taken with mobile phone, but one thing to remember, that while taking the photo you have to understand the which ratio you will select. Mobile phone camera has all the ratios, right? 4 is to 3, 16 into 9, and 1 is to 1, like that. But the purpose is different. If you want to watch your photographs in your TV or laptop with your family, then the horizontal 16 into 9, that is the landscape mode, is much better. But if you want to share in the social media, the vertical mode is better, that is, portrait mode is better, and 1 is to 1 for Instagram posting. Another point is that in the right lower picture, you can see I have used some filter to get the Operation Theater picture. But my suggestion will be, take the picture in a normal mode. Don't use filter during taking the picture. You can add later on. But while you are using a filter during the taking the picture, it will spoil your purpose. You will not be able to get the original one. So you can do post processing, but take the normal picture first. And this is the proportion for TV, desktop, laptop, and this is for mobile, tablet, and social media sharing. Now come to the quality of the photos. Though we have got megapixels, 200 megapixels, 150 megapixels, but thing is that the sensor size in the mobile phone are very small. So taking the light from the environment, capacity of taking the light is very minimum. So you have to understand that sensor size is important. And though the no company mentioned the sensor size in the boxes, but megapixel is for the resolutions, I understand. And optical zoom is always better than the digital zoom. You can see that the toad rock in the Mount Abu. But while I am using the digital zoom, the rock is visible, but it is already pixelated. The quality of the picture downgrade. So take the picture first in normal or optical, whatever optical zoom is available, then you can apply crop to get the original subject. Now come to the portrait mode. It is also a very interesting mode, and all people, what a picture, like DSLR or mirrorless camera. But in this picture, if you see, these models kept a picture, but if you zoom that picture, you will understand the margins of these models or idols are not taken properly, because it is not a shallow depth of field. It is all done by software. It is a software dependent feature, but you can use it to get a good. But I think if you place the background is a less cluttered, then the photo will be better in portrait mode. And now the big creative with the pro mode. The pro mode is available for all, not for the only professional in mobile device. So use it. You spend money, already spent money for mobile purchasing mobile phone, you can use it. You can do experiment with the exposure, shutter speed, ISO, focus, white balance, whatever is available, and take photo after controlling one by one features. And one should remember that the little underexposed photos are always better than the overexposed, because the detail is there, you can recover in post processing. And take several shots to understand your particular device, because these features varies from device to device, whatever may be the model, whatever may be the company or brand, it differs in different models. Now here is a small video you can see. uh, Here the 2 second timer is on, and one grid is on over the pictures. This is rule of third grid. I'm just tapping on the yeah, I made it 0 second timer. And grid is important because it gives rise to the rule of third, and you can place the subject according to your need. We will prefer to place the subject in the intersections of these lines. It will be better and more creative. Now come to the pro mode. This is pro mode. Here you can see the features in the right hand side: ISO, shutter speed, EV, focus, and white balance. All these features are under our control. If you see the shutter ISO value, I am taking higher ISO value, and the picture is getting brighter and brighter. So it gets more sensitivity to the sensor. But with the shutter speed, you can see the higher the shutter speed, the picture getting darker because less light is coming to the sensor. So we have to adjust how much shutter speed is required for a particular object. It is still life, then lower shutter speed is enough. But it is a fast moving object, we have to use the higher shutter speed to freeze it. Now, to compensate that shutter speed, I had to use the ISO to increase the ISO to get the proper exposure. So there is a relationship between these two. You have to understand your own device, like changing these parameters and take photos. So you will understand what is applicable for what, and it is a matter of practice. You see. Now come to focus. Here, the autofocus and manual focus is available. Autofocus, whatever you are seeing, it is autofocus. But if you want to focus a particular object in the scene, see, I am changing the focus. Now my family photo gone blurred. But no, my target is to focus that photos. So now I am focusing on that photo in manually, and the green dots are appearing over the photos. This portion of the picture is in focus. So we can take picture right now. So control is at your hand. And lastly, there is white balance. White balance in this mode is also controllable. If you increase the Kelvin value, you see there is warmer color in the picture. The picture is getting warm, and if we reduce the white balance in Kelvin value, you will see there is cooler side of the picture, and you have to adjust it according to your need. Normal day value is around 5,000, daylight value is 5,500, 5,200, like that. Okay, this video done. Now, another good example of features is panoramic mode. It is available in all the mobile phones nowadays, and use it. It is very much useful. The first picture is from the Louvre Museum, Paris, and the second one is Hajarduari from Murshidabad, West Bengal. You can use this panoramic mode to capture the wide area or wide structure into one frame, and it is very easy to use. While you open the camera in the panoramic mode, camera itself will guide you how to drag the camera in a one direction to other, and you will be amazed to see these pictures, but with a steady hand. It is very much required.
Dr. Jana, can you just sorry, can you just tell us that with what software do you use to stitch these? I mean, there must be some softwares to stitch these photographs together once you have taken them into this mode.
Yes, but I do not use them. I just mentioned that there are many softwares to stitch them. They're from Sony and Photoshop. It might be done, but in normal, this type of panoramic mode is easily available in our mobile phone, so we can use it. I just wanted to highlight this one. But the professionals can stitch this type of several pictures in a one picture. And I have very limited knowledge regarding the stitchings of these photos, but I do not use them.
Mm.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Even for the other photographs, also there are special softwares available where we can stitch some 200 photographs, or I'm sure similarly there must be softwares available for mobile photography as well.
Hmm. But I don't know. If you know, you can share with us.
Sure.
Another picture from Laksa Temple. This is also panoramic view. And now, point is that you find something new and different around you. This is also important for photography. Uh, you have to keep vigilance there. What is something new and something different, something new angle of the common object, and you have to take the photo from a different part, different angles and different shots you will understand that what is good looking and what is better looking. Now come to the accessories. Here are the small accessory I already mentioned about the small tripod. It is very easy to carry and it is very useful. If you do videography, especially at night in the photography in the night, it is very useful. It gives a stable picture quality and a sharp picture quality. And extra lens, whatever we do in the microsurgery, but in photography, all these are called macro. So macro lens can be used. The clip like device you can clip on the main lens of the mobile phone, and you will get the picture of insects and small plants like those things. And Bluetooth shutter, Bluetooth remote I already mentioned, and selfie stick all we know. But the one thing to mention that selfie stick having a Bluetooth button is always better. And other there are a lot of other accessories. Those people are more adventurous and more want to know more in detail. They can go to the other accessories also. Now, a lot of photos already been taken, but we have to choose out of them. For a particular scene, I have taken 5 photos, but 5 photos might not be so good. So we have to take it out either one or two out of them. This process is very important. Otherwise, your memory of the mobile phone will be overwhelmed, and you have to erase all these things. So there must be some organizing pattern, how to store your photos and to select what photo to share. Not I have taken 5 photos of a particular object and share all these 5 photos in the social media, and nobody will see in proper way. We have to select the best one and then share it. Regarding the editing, uh, uh, there are a lot of apps in the mobile phone and in the Windows, in Mac, all these things. But for simple way, the Snapseed is good one from Google. It is free of cost, and every Android phone has Snapseed. You can use it. Very easy to use, and you will more or less all the features are there. Besides this, Photoshop Express, Lightroom. Photoshop Express in Windows is free, totally free, and also you can use the Lightroom. Those are good enough. And too many softwares, too many apps will spoil the game. So select one or two and you practice it. You will get the better result. And another point to mention, that is artificial intelligence. It is already in the picture. Look at the shot of the moon. It is taken by my mobile phone. I thought I tried several times with my mirrorless camera, and it was failure. But with mobile phone, it was very easy. Just look at point at the moon and take it to 30x zoom. It will automatically take the moon's photo. But it is all our artificial intelligence, not my credit. It's a mobile phone is giving the artificial property to take the moon like that.
Dr. Jana, maybe you can just summarize in 2 minutes because
Uh,
we are getting a
this is my
signal now,
last two,
but it's a very interesting presentation. Continue.
last two slides, madam. Only last two there. And regarding editing, cropping is very important to point out your subject. Use filter in post processing if you need to present in the social media, and basic adjustment regarding light, shadow, what a contrast you can edit little by these apps. It is very essential to present your photo in the social media or the viewers. And this is my last slide. Thank you very much for patience hearing.
It has
Thank you,
been
ma'am.
an excellent presentation,
Amazing.
and the whole session has been a visual delight and so much to learn from. So I now invite Dr. Nan to please take care of his session.
Yeah, Dr. Saikar, excellent presentation. One question for
Thank
you. We have to select the main camera while we're taking photos in a smartphone or mobile phone. How do you do it, or does it happen automatically? Does the main camera get selected automatically?
Yes, main camera. Usually there are two cameras, front camera and back cameras. Back
Okay.
camera has multiple part, say 50 megapixel camera, but other cameras are only 2 megapixel to give the depth perception only. To use the monochrome only, 2 megapixel. Those 2 megapixel cameras are useless, but it is to drag the audience, drag the customer. But the main camera is 50 megapixel, and use it. You will get the best resolution possible with that particular mobile. And usually the front camera, the selfie camera, is having 8 or 16 megapixel, and the quality of the sensor is not so good like the main camera. That I
Yeah,
wanted to. Yeah.
yeah. Most of the mobiles today have 3, 4 cameras at the back side. Yeah.
That is to attract the customer.
Okay.
My mobile phone have 5 cameras.
So thank you so much. Once again, I will thank Dr. Dilip, Dr. Paras, and Dr. Saikat for sharing their wonderful experiences. Especially the one with the mobile camera was very useful because that is what is in our hand most of the times, and it is
Yes.
we can use it to its maximum potential. And I also like to thank Dr. Bela and Dr. Paras for moderating the show. With this, I would like to wrap up the show. We can always continue this discussion on another platform like Facebook or WhatsApp, and then maybe we can have another session on photography sometime later on. Thank you once again. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Good.
it was good to be part of it. Thank you.
Absolutely
Thank you,
delighted.
Dr. Paras.
Thank you.
Thank you.